Uganda Development Bank Limited has repositioned itself as a key partner to the government of Uganda in delivering its National Development Plan, NDP.
UDB occupies a very unique space in Uganda's economy. First of all, we are the only development bank in Uganda. Critically, we are a policy bank, which means that we are a key financial institution in executing the national policy, the government's policy.
And in the plan, one of the key issues we bring out is the issue of financing. We have different types of financing. And now the UDB is the financing arm of the plan. Without UDB, implementation of our private sector driven economy will become a big problem.
We are guided by the Vision 2040 and the National Development Plan 2, which is currently under implementation. The NDP2 identifies priority sectors that are supposed to help the country achieve middle income status. So our job is to constantly make sure that our interventions are aligned through the projects that we support.
I'm glad your strategic plan has identified out key areas of intervention. This bank should focus on sectors that help the economy to grow and expand.
For the next 5 years, we purpose to focus on 5 key sectors of the economy. That is agriculture, both from primary to secondary and agro-processing. We'll focus on manufacturing. We'll focus on supporting infrastructure, the infrastructure sector, as well as tourism and hospitality. And last but not least, we purpose to devote our resources to investments in human capital development, which essentially is the health services and education services.
Uganda's industrialization drive can barely be complete without associated investments in packaging materials, which is yet another window for foreign capital expenditures. Quality Plastics, situated in Balala along the Kampala-Mukono-Jinja Highway, now produces packaging materials not only for Uganda but the regional export markets as well.
We've been working on industrial packaging, and currently last 4-5 years we have been into preforms and closures as well, which is mainly used in beverage companies. Right now we are manufacturing 1,300 tons, our capacity. So definitely our business has grown rapidly. You can say 500-600% over the years. So definitely this has helped us to purchase those equipments and actually sell in the market. Between $1 million to $1.5 million every month, import has reduced for the country. We pay approximately about 7 to 8 billion annually as a tax.
Indeed, this has been made possible through UDB's cumulative financing to Quality Plastics that has seen acquisition of various state-of-the-art manufacturing equipment.
Uganda Development Bank is basically our prime financer. So we have got 3 Husky injection molding machines, and each machine is costing between $1.5 million to $3 million. So inclusively all, it's about $5 million plus financing from Uganda Development Bank.
Quality Plastics reiterates its commitment in ensuring that the numerous existing and emerging processing industries across the country have their input value chain squarely addressed domestically.
This is a pure example of synergy, institutional synergy. Companies like us can grow when there are companies like UDB who can finance, and with the synergy we can create opportunities here.
Founded 31 years ago, Crestform Limited has clearly run the race in this segment of business through what its owners call creativity, flexibility, and technical expertise towards quality production of mattresses.
Crestform is a manufacturer of flexible foam, and we use that foam to make mattresses, cushions, and pillows. We currently sell our products predominantly in Uganda, and we also have some export business in the eastern part of DRC as well as South Sudan.
But an inferno in March 2015 destroyed its assets and merchandise worth billions of shillings.
We lost a significant portion of our infrastructure. We lost 4,000 square meters, as well as machinery that was warehoused in those warehouses.
Uganda Development Bank intervened with the financing that supported not just the restoration of this facility located in Tinda Industrial Area, but a modern upgrade.
We've actually taken quite a few initiatives and actions to make sure that really we ensure that what happened back in 2015 will not happen again. We do have a sprinkler system that enabled us to flood, the warehouse and ensure that if there's a problem in a particular part of the factory, it's contained and managed.
The loan facility from UDB to the company enabled the construction of warehouses that were destroyed in March 2015 inferno, thereby providing additional space for work in progress, curing of foam blocks, conversion area dedicated to cutting, dressing and tailoring, storage of finished goods, and procurement, installation of modern firefighting equipment.
We actually have subdivided the production area into about 4 warehouses, and each warehouse has a bit of a vacuum space that separates the walls, again to allow for time for reaction, but also containment. And we have put a lot of firefighting equipment over and above the sprinklers. We have actually fire extinguishers and the water hoses as well. So this place, I think, has been well equipped to make sure that really the incident we had back in 2015 will not happen again.
Through the lender's intervention, the company is expected to strengthen on the existing 129 jobs, continue to contribute toward the tax revenues for government, and the country foreign exchange for export of mattresses to neighboring countries, as well as support small businesses that act as agents of the company. Steel remains a critical input in the wide private and public sector infrastructure development programs across the country.
I knew where the gap is, and it was basically to do with the quality. Our quality is number 1, I can say. We picked the best machine so that we don't get problems tomorrow.
In taming the country's huge import bill and ensuring sustained domestic production, UDB's funded Steel and Tube with working capital.
Well, we are impressed with the way they handle clients. I was really surprised one day when the board decided to visit and see where their money is. Most of the banks here, they don't do it, especially the board. The management team can come, but you never see the board. So we are hoping to get more business or more working relationship.
Based at the Namamve Industrial Park, where it has installed a new hot roll mill producing a wide range of construction materials, this Ugandan farm is also now supplying to the export market that stretches to Rwanda, Congo, Sudan, Kenya, and Burundi.
We used to import from Kenya, but now we're exporting to Kenya. It is because of this investment.
Accordingly, their export component, accounting for 35% of their total sales, is a major boost to the country's balance of payment position. Tax revenue from importation of raw materials needed for the cold roll mill is clearly being redistributed to other sectors.
Our employment is 800 people,
permanent, and indirect will go up to 15,000. So as per now, for us, we need more money to add on our, our products.
Uganda's construction requirements continue to widen by the day. Builder Products Industries is yet another indigenous enterprise that is manufacturing these items, hitherto mainly imported from far-off destinations such as China.
We specialize in the production of water pipes and related fittings. UDB has helped us to be in the market. We had the building, we had the machinery, but we're not producing. So we basically had idle capacity.
This investment, supported by the UDB, has equally raised the capabilities of construction service providers in being able to work on their targets, sustain employment, and in making Uganda's economy more competitive.
So we would now want to start manufacturing the metallic part of the fitting from here. So we've already, we've been in the process with the Uganda Development Bank to finance that part of the machinery that would enable us to do the metallic part, so that everything, by the time the fitting comes out, we have everything being manufactured from here. It takes a very long time to recover your money back. So this requires patient capital to be able to pay back. So that's why UDB, I think, would be handy to provide capital, which is patient capital, so that by the time the factory gets itself on its feet, that you are in a better position to be able to pay back.
We were able to clearly appreciate what our mandate is. So to that effect, our mandate is to be the preferred partner to government in delivering socio-economic development.
We take on more risk than the private sector would in very many cases. If you look at a commercial bank and you look at Uganda Development Bank, you find Uganda Development Bank in undertaking its mandate may venture into a sector that is riskier than what the private sector may want to venture into at that time, but we would have to venture into it if that sector or interventions in that sector are viewed to be critical to the national development.
The difference between UDB and any commercial bank is that for them, as UDB, they finance, they develop ideas, finance them, and walk those who are implementing them to their destination with a view of getting development impact.
Our shareholder is the government of Uganda and the people of Uganda. So we are here to develop Uganda. That is a very important distinction. So while private companies may develop Uganda as an objective, it may not necessarily be their primary objective. For us, for Uganda Development Bank, that is our primary objective. Our primary objective is to make sure that the policy goals and development goals as set out by the government of Uganda are implemented.
We have a robust monitoring and evaluation framework for monitoring development outcomes, and so this process is mainstreamed right from the beginning. It's one of the key criteria that we use to evaluate projects.
The private sector leadership, on their part, said that the current mismatch of financing available for most of their members can well be resolved by the full ability of UDB in providing the appropriate development plans, development loans, more so if it gets adequately capitalized.
Every year government will be putting 50 billion in the Uganda Development Bank to recapitalize it. So over the next so many years, we should be able to see a couple of hundreds of billions having put, and these are revolving funds because people borrow and pay back. You borrow and pay back. Someone else comes to borrow, especially those that are in the export value chains. Because this is where the magic is going to be for this country. We're talking about an imbalance in trade. So you must be looking to export. This money should be supporting us to develop the export value chains. And in so doing, create jobs along the way. In so doing, build household income so that we build the capacity for people to demand what we produce from the manufacturing. We must stimulate, we must create demand, and that demand can be created when you provide jobs. You promote that backward integration.
Over the next 5 years, our outlook is to reduce the average lending rate to about 11%, which will be affordable to most Ugandans. And how are we doing this? We are continually collaborating with government to enhance the capitalization of the bank. By the end of the planning period, which is 2022, the bank will be adequately capitalized to over 500 billion shillings.
We are working on the cost of money in the banks. I don't want to hear that manufacturers, people who are building hotels, people who are in agriculture are borrowing from money makers in the commercial banks. They should borrow cheap money from the Uganda Development Bank, where the interest should never exceed 12% per year in Uganda shillings. That's our target.
We're quite serious about growth. Looking at what we've projected to grow at the end of 2025, we should be growing about fourfold. But we believe with the support we have from all stakeholders and government and the funds that we are able to now mobilize and generate, we could probably exceed that. So by 2022, we really believe that the bank will be substantial. The size of the bank will be quite substantial. And at that point, we believe that we shall be making meaningful interventions and being more relevant.